Hello, today we'll be studying Chapter 9. Chapter 9, the title will be Technical Research. Technical research meaning basically how to find some information in the library or using web research or even besides the library, any kind of information you can find from anywhere. That can be from, we call primary research, means you actually do a survey or you actually do interviews. So something you do yourself, we call primary research. But other than basically primary research, something you find information in the library, some information you get from web, internet, we call secondary resources. So in this chapter, we'll learn about how to start the research, how to review published research, conducting primary research, and using borrowed information collectively, and reporting those researches, basically put that into your research report format. Now when you do actually, when you begin to do research, you want to ask basically yourself the following question to give directions to your work. So when you begin to do some research, let's say your boss in the textbook actually case was one of the president asked this one of the staff to research if whether the company should replace their gasoline automobile car to electricity automobile car, and president wanted to have one of the staff to do research whether that is basically a good decision or not. So this person had to begin the research from somewhere. So when you begin the research, basically you need to ask this question: what questions must be answered during the research phase? And what print, multimedia, and electronic sources would be most useful? And what is the nature and extent of information that is needed? And should it be scholarly or popular, current or history? When we begin to do research, we begin to basically, there are a lot of sources of basically data from government organizations or even private basically organizations where they specialize in certain specialties such as environment issue or the efficiency of energy issue. If it's accounting, we have basically accounting basically sites provided by American Accountant Association. If it's a legal issue, there is a lot of data can be found in the mostly law libraries or even basically through many of the bar association as well. So there are tons of the informations out there, and we have to begin from somewhere, but we cannot spend so much time and effort, so we need to know exactly what is the most efficient way to find information in this age. So we're going to more talk about, I think a lot of people know general idea of Googling. Googling is great. When you actually think about the Google, Google basically was established by two Stanford PhD students, Larry and I think Sergey. And one of them were math and computer major, and another person I think was a computer science major. And they actually developed the software, developed the program, how to basically expedite the documents research. And nowadays actually when you do any kind of Google research, you will see that when you try to find some information, it shows on the top how many data that Google found. Like could be 10,000, even 12, millions of information. But the greatest thing about Google is they do it in a second. So they came up with, before Google, actually Yahoo dominate the research basically mode. But when Google basically came up with a new invention, how to do research fast with the newly developed software, currently they are dominating the research market, and they are one of the actually major power, those who wants to advertise in basically internet as well. So let's continue. We'll talk about more detail about Google because they changed our life in this 21st century. And they basically made the internet so efficient, so easy for public to use, and I really actually appreciate their effort. So let's talk about how. Ask yourself the following question to give directions to your work. What are the best strategies and research tools for locating information? To whom can you talk? And who might have expertise on the topic? So basically you start with the fundamental question, what are the best strategy? Which research tool am I going to use it? And who are the experts that I should talk to? Okay, somehow this thing got a little stuck. Okay, it's moving now. The next one is ask yourself the following question to give direction to your work. What are the best criteria for critically evaluating information for reliability and validity, accuracy, timelines, or point of view or bias? Even the Google research, they have a scholarly Google research version. If you like to do more research in scholarly topic, there are a lot of Tom paper, a lot of research paper, which you can find in scholarly Google section. And we also consider what format must be used to document material borrowed from sources, and what copyright permission must be acquired to use those information. Mostly, whenever we use somebody else's information, we always have to put that where we found the information in the reference or even the footnote, because those informations are not created by me. So whenever it's not quotation from yourself, you have to give a reference to where you found that information. Okay. Now, it starts with basically reviewing published research. Where can we find published research? Now, we begin with the online category, catalog, research in the library, and searching the web. At this time, let me actually show you we're going to watch actually 3 YouTube videos in this chapter. And let me begin, introduce the first one to give you some introduction, basically. First title here is, as you can see, the first title is Incorporating Sources into Your Research Paper. Now, some of these YouTube video, basically, I really couldn't find something exactly matching doing research paper in the workplace. And some of these actually tutorial material in YouTube mix with academic research as well as technical research. So, however, either it is academic research for your term paper in your university, or for basically research project at your workplace. The bottom line, how to do research and what sources we need to look into are same. So basically, let's watch this video and get some ideas.
It's time to write a research paper. You've thought about your topic and gathered many sources. So how do you actually present those sources in your paper? In this tutorial, you'll learn how to effectively incorporate sources into your research paper. You'll learn about how to structure your sources, include your own analysis, and use sources to support an argument. This tutorial focuses on how to incorporate sources into a research assignment at the college or university level. So how will learning how to incorporate sources into your paper help you? Throughout history, all well-known figures have drawn ideas from those that came before them to formulate their own ideas. Isaac Newton famously said, "If I have seen further, it is only by standing on the shoulders of giants." All sorts of famous figures have used ideas that came before them to create their own original ideas, including activists and speakers, businessmen, and even artists. Building on sources makes your own ideas better. If nothing else, learning about how to incorporate sources into your research paper will help you get a better grade on your assignment. You can think of writing a research paper as presenting an argument or a point of view. Every scholarly research paper contains a thesis. The thesis is the central argument of your paper. All of the sources included in your paper must relate back to your thesis in some way. It's your job to use these sources to support your central thesis. It's often good to include sources that agree with your central thesis as well as those that don't agree with your central thesis. Examining and addressing multiple sides of the argument often makes your own argument stronger. It can help to think about sources on a given topic as a conversation between people you haven't met. First, you listen to the conversation for a while. As you listen, you develop an understanding about the people that are participating in the conversation. You think about how the characteristics that you've observed might impact the arguments that the other people are making. After listening to the conversation for a while, you jump in. When one person presents their ideas, you respond with your own thoughts. This is one of the main differences between scholarly research papers and other papers that you might have written in the past. It's not enough just to present sources. You also have to present your own ideas and responses in relation to those sources. Sometimes this is called presenting analysis. There are three primary ways to present ideas from another source in your research paper: direct quote, paraphrase, and summary. Whenever you present ideas from an outside source, there are three main components that you need to include. First, provide an introduction. The introduction is a way for you to set up the information that you'll be presenting from the outside source. Next, you include the ideas from the source as either a direct quote, a paraphrase, or a summary. Make sure to always properly cite ideas from outside sources. Finally, include an analysis of the ideas that you've presented. An analysis will include your response, interpretations, or arguments in response to the idea from the outside source. Analysis is crucial for a good research paper. It's probably the most important step in this process, so don't forget it. Remember that ideas that you present from outside sources must always relate back to your central thesis in some way. Make sure that you clearly present how these outside ideas relate to your thesis in your analysis. Take a look at the example below. Notice that this example includes an introduction, a direct quote, and some analysis. Keep in mind that this is just a snippet of the analysis that would be necessary to include in a paper discussing this quote.
Okay, basically this was introduction how to write research paper, and as we discussed, whenever actually you write any kind of use any sources from either web or from the library, from the book, periodical, or newspaper, you always have to cite where you found that information, so that those other people who read your report can actually, if they like to know more detail on that information, they can always go to the site and actually they can read more about it. Nowadays, actually, whenever we cite anything from web research, we always actually provide web address in the reference section, so that people can always go to internet and type that web address and get the same information. So I think as you continue your college life, you will be actually writing many more reports, but either it is something you write for your professor or you write for your boss at work. Research basically processes are same, and sources that we found is also same. Now this is basically a search online catalog. Now we're going to actually go through how to do more effective search in the web, because like Google, normally people begin to find information with some keyword. Here, keyword search. So you can actually type in some title research, author, or you can type some subjects or keyword, and some internet mode also had advanced search techniques as well. Then I think the book starts with the library, actually, research. Now, if you actually go to the library, nowadays in old time we had index basically with a lot of or printed form, but right now everything is also in computer. When you walk into the library, you're going to go to one of the library computer, which has all the basically references, and you just type in, like previous one, like either author or title of the book, subject or keyword. And then basically the library index, it will show where they keep that basically book, or if it is some kind of slide or some periodical, it will tell you basically you have to specifically ask to the librarian for that information. So in the library, basically you can find books, periodicals, newspaper, even company directories, and it also has dictionaries, encyclopedia, and other general references. And even though nowadays actually lots of encyclopedia or dictionary information, actually you can do through the web research as well. Okay, now we are moving to web research, fundamentals of web research. Nowadays, because of the internet, the web researching is so powerful. And here it said using your evaluation skill, and we have to, when we do web searching, invest time and effort in critically evaluating what you found. When you actually do web research, you will find there are so many articles, so many documents, so you have to, since your time is limited, you have to choose which article you're gonna read. So as you actually go along, you have to be alert to the following. First of all, it can be obscure authorship, can be means when you Google research, it doesn't mean that all the documents, information you found has basically, it has a strong, basically, verified scholarly article. It can be, anybody can write it and just put on the Google. So you have to watch out those articles. And some of the information can be out-of-date information. Some of them can be basically subtle or biased, or some can be poor quality links, and some can be basically fraud style and design. So you have to be able to scan it fast and basically sort out, what article or what, the documents you should not really spend your time on it. Now, when you do fundamental web researching, basically the basic we call is uniform resource locator, and basically this uniform research locator, which called URL, contains important clues to the website authorship, country of origin or domain, or type of organization sponsoring the site. So for example, when we have basically www.ott.doe.gov, we know this is government resources. So this is computer address and domain. And when we have basically last three words GOV, we know that it is government document. If the last basically dot will be EDU, it is some type of research paper from the university. Or it can be basically general .com, or it is basically from specific company. It can have basically domain name in company's name as well. Then after gov/hel/what.html, this is so-called file path to exact page. So this is their domain name, and this one goes into more detailed document, locating exact file. Okay, so web search options. Searching by URL, Uniform Resource Locator, or you can search by keyword using search engine, or search with subject directory. You are using review and recommend subject guide. Now I do actually have, before I move on to this next slide, we do have basically YouTube video, which will give you a better idea. Okay, this one basically, the title here is Search Strategies. Then let's take a look at this.
Base provides some sort of, we will talk about each of these truncation results.
Let me go to the front.
You can search most information strategies for academic research. You can search most information tools using basic keywords or natural language to return hundreds or thousands of results. Or you can use some simple strategies to perform the most effective searches. Using search strategies points you to the most valuable results with minimal effort and eliminates the need to sift through unusable results. The 5 basic search strategies that we will talk about today are help, Boolean operators, nesting, truncation, and control vocabulary. Most databases support some or all of these strategies, and so do many internet resources. We will talk about each of these strategies. Every database provides some sort of help with basic and advanced searches. Some offer help links or icons, such as question marks, which display tutorials, information about supported search strategies, and tips for using the database to perform effective searches. This database contains a help link and context-sensitive help icons that display information that is relevant to specific features. This particular help system lets you search or browse a list of topics. Most internet search engines also offer help. Google Scholar's help can be found by clicking About Google Scholar, and then Google Scholar Help. Search strategies are not limited to databases. You can learn how to make your database and internet searches much more powerful just by reading the help. The second basic search strategy is Boolean operators. Join your search terms with the Boolean operators and, or not to either narrow or broaden your search results. Joining search terms with and finds results that contain both terms. For example, searching steroids and sports will retrieve items that contain both of these terms, but not those that contain only sports or only steroids. And narrows your search results by eliminating items that contain only one of the specified terms. Joining search terms with or finds results that contain either one term or the other or both terms. A search for cars or autos will return items that include either cars or autos or both in the record. Using or is an easy way to expand your search to include variations in terminology. Joining search terms with not will eliminate results that include a particular term. For example, a search for virus, not AIDS, will retrieve all the records containing the word virus, excluding those records that contain the word AIDS. Using not drastically narrows results. The third basic search strategy is nesting. Nesting groups related terms inside parentheses to clarify the order of the search. Group terms are searched first, as in a mathematical equation. Nesting clarifies results by allowing you to search for either one or another term first, and then combine with a third term. A search for success and education or training will find items that either include both success and education, or those that contain training in their records. But nesting uses parentheses to put your search terms into sets. Grouping education or training together with parentheses lets the database find items with either education or training in their records first, and then adds the term success to that set of results. The fourth basic search strategy is truncation. Truncation lets you use a symbol at the beginning, end, or within a root word to take the place of one or multiple characters depending on the system. Common symbols are the asterisk, question mark, and $sign. Use the help to find out which are supported. Truncation expands results by finding various endings or spellings of your search terms. For example, using the asterisk to replace any character after the root word engine will return many endings of the word. And using a $sign to replace 0 or one character will return both the American and British spellings of the word behavior. Again, check the tool's help to find out which truncation symbols are supported. The last search strategy is controlled vocabulary. Most databases provide a thesaurus, or list of subject headings to use within the database. These lists contain the words that have been identified as standard terms within a given discipline. Control vocabulary is different for each tool. You can't necessarily use the control vocabulary for the library catalog in another database. Each has its own. Performing controlled vocabulary searches narrows results because you are looking for a standardized term in one particular field of the item's records. To do a controlled vocabulary search, first identify the controlled vocabulary term. In this database, controlled vocabulary is called subject terms, and a list is provided for browsing or searching. Enter the controlled vocabulary term in your search, and target the controlled vocabulary field. This is typically called the subject or subject heading field, but check the tool's help to be sure. Now all of your results contain the term nanoparticles in the record subject fields. Looking at article records is another good way to identify controlled vocabulary terms. The Evans Library Catalog uses the Library of Congress subject headings as its controlled vocabulary. Use the subject field to do a controlled vocabulary search. And retrieve very specific items as a result of your searches. this session has been helpful to you. Please remember to ask a librarian for help with search strategies.
Okay, so basically this was doing search strategies, general search strategy. Actually, the video I have is basically specifically how to do Google research. And the title is Smart Web Research Strategies. But let's take a look at this a little later. Let's cover some of our study material in the PowerPoint. Okay, actually, yeah, now it is going into actually primary research because let's watch one more video because like I told you, the primary research means something you do research yourself, which means you do survey. So basically, we might as well watch one more YouTube video, which how to do basically more efficient web research using Google. So let's watch this video together.
College Holman Library. In this video, you will learn strategies to narrow internet searches in order to find focused, quality information. Google is a search engine that many people use to search the internet. You may have also heard of other search engines, such as Bing or Yahoo. There are also tools that people use to search the internet. In this video, we will focus on search strategies in Google, but you can often use these strategies in other search engines as well. Let's say you are writing a college research paper on medical marijuana. A simple search would be to type medical marijuana into the Google search box and click on the search button to perform the search. This search gives us about 62 million results, or 62 million web pages. The results are very mixed. For example, some web pages describe what medical marijuana is. Some commercial websites let you know where you can purchase medical marijuana. Some organizational websites cover the controversy surrounding medical marijuana. Other organizational websites advocate for a specific position on the issue. But medical marijuana is a pretty broad search. For research papers, it is often helpful to narrow or focus your topic. Let's say that you are interested in medical marijuana in California, since it was one of the early states to pass medical marijuana legislation. So, in the Google search box, you type medical marijuana California and click search. Notice that there are fewer results, about 2 million. That is still a lot of web pages, but the point is that the more keywords or search words you put in the search box, the more focused your results will be. There are several websites to choose from. Notice that one of the websites might be particularly good for research purposes. It is a government website. You can tell because .gov is in the web address. When you click on the link and open the website, it gives detailed and helpful information about medical marijuana laws, statistics, and costs. The information is coming directly from the state government website, so it is authoritative. Such government websites tend to keep information up to date and usually contain little bias. Their purpose is meant to be informative. Wow! Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to hunt through all the websites in the results list to find other government websites that might provide you with more quality information for your research paper? Well, you can, using a search strategy called CITE. Typing the phrase cite:/gov in the Google search box will limit your results to only government websites. That is, websites with a .gov in the web address. These websites may come from all levels of government, such as city, county, state, and national jurisdictions. Similarly, you can use cite:/org to limit your results to organizational websites, that is, websites with .org in the web address. And, as you can imagine, you can use cite:/edu to see only educational websites in your search results, or cite:/com to see only commercial websites. This cite:/search strategy gives you a lot more power when you search and allows you to limit your results to the type of website that you want. Let's try it out. In the Google search box, type medical marijuana California cite:/gov to see only government websites. Remember, the phrase is site:/gov with no space before gov. Since you have further narrowed your search, you will see fewer results. In addition, now all the websites you see are government websites that have .gov somewhere in the web address. Now, in just the first page of results, you have expertly narrowed your search results to find quality information about medical marijuana from the Medical Board of California, a fact sheet from the White House's Office of National Drug Control Policy, and a scientific article through the National Library of Medicine. So, to search more effectively, narrow your results by adding more search words, and focus your results by using the site:/ strategy. Remember, for the site:/gov strategy, there is no space before the gov. So, next time you use the internet, perhaps try these smart search strategies to help save you time and get you great results. If you have questions about how to perform more effective internet searches and would like further tips and strategies, just contact a librarian in person, by phone, online chat, or email. They are always happy to assist you.
Okay, so we watched pretty much 3 videos, and to learn actually how to do the web search more effectively by using basically keyword, and how to basically do finding different type of information by adding and or with some key marks. Okay, so all these basically research are we call secondary research. Now let's move on to so-called primary research. Like I said, primary research is something you conduct research yourself. And primary research can be divided into, first, quantitative research. Quantitative research is basically you're counting statistics. So this research can be valid or reliable because you are actually counting everything yourself. Rather than trying to find the statistical information in web page, you are actually doing your own research, and you